Okay, Mr. Saldana, you can be seated.
I got some housekeeping issues as well.
Okay.
First of all, this is on the record, correct? And I'm going to be able to get a judicial record for this? Or do I need to fill out a slip? Okay.
Yeah, we're on.
I just have a few housekeeping issues I'd like to address. Judge, due to the actions of the court in recent hearings, the court has removed me from hearings via Zoom, violating my rights.
All right, Mr. Saldana, before Mr. Saldana, excuse me, I am running this court, and what
Hi guys, my name is Judge Sandra, and I worked really hard on my testimony for today, except my testimony for SJR 27 today was canceled. And I feel like I have a whole bunch to get off my chest. SJR 27 is Senate Joint Resolution 27. It's going to amend the Constitution, and later this election year, we're going to be able, as a state, to vote on it, on whether we believe our Constitution should be amended to include Senate Joint Resolution 27. Now, let me tell you what Senate Joint Resolution 27 is. It reduces from 6 judges to 4 judges on the SCJC, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. We all know the State Commission on Judicial Conduct doesn't do investigations, and that's part of my testimony. So I want to tell you about the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, why we need Senate Joint Resolution 27, because it also adds 2 more members of the public. And I believe the public needs to be on this oversight commission, because when you have too many judges and too many lawyers overseeing their own people in their own profession, they tend to have a bias, and they tend not to investigate what the public's concerns are. And hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate that the SCJC does not investigate when it comes to the public filing judicial grievances. So I made 3 packets for the legislators. I made 15 and I was going to hand some out, but this is the first one. I have 2 and I have 3 packets, and I'm going to go through all 3 packets really quickly. So I'm going to read you from the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct 2024 annual report. And the first page is going to be the philosophy. And I want to just read you a little bit about the State Commission on Judicial Conduct's philosophy. The members of the State Commission on Judicial Conduct and commission staff take their obligations to the citizens and the judges of Texas seriously. The agency reviews every allegation of misconduct made against a Texas judge. Each complaint alleging misconduct on its face is thoroughly investigated and analyzed by commission staff before being presented to the commissioners. This process helps preserve the public's confidence in the integrity of the judicial process. Judges are held to the highest standards of ethical conduct, both on and off the bench. Man, that sounds great. The SCJC has a great philosophy. Now, if we turn the page to Chapter 33 of the Government Code, let me read you this. The Commission shall finalize the complaint no later than 270th day following the date the complaint was filed with the Commission. 270 days. They can request another 120 days, but 270 days is when they should have everything prepped for the Commission. October 6, 2021. Here's my email, and it states, we have received your complaint against Texas Judge Sandra Peake in the 257th Court of Harris County. April 21st, 2023. We are continuing our investigation into the complaint you filed on before us on October 6, 2021. The date of my dismissal letter was February 8th, 2024. This is what I sent them. And I sent it in color, crayon. Chapter 33, why the examiner not interview eyewitnesses? How is this an investigation? Why this grievance take 2.5 years to complete? You guys suck. You don't follow the law. Judge Saldana, March 3rd, 2024. Please send to Supreme Court Justice Jimmy Blacklock, the boss. If y'all don't know, Chief Justice now, Jimmy Blacklock, that's his commission, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. And that concludes handout number 1. Handout number 2 goes a little something like this. These are my transcripts from my court proceedings. And so I'm just going to read you tad bits and tell you about what happened to me, and then we're going to go from there. Mr. Saldana says, first of all, this is on the record, correct? And I'm going to be able to get a judicial record for this, or do I need to fill out? The court says we are on the record. Mr. Saldana, okay, I just have a few housekeeping issues I'd like to address. Judge, due to the actions of this court in recent hearings, the court has removed me from hearings via Zoom, violating my right.
Okay, Mr. Saldana, you can be seated.
Ma'am, I got some housekeeping issues as well.
Okay.
First of all, this is on the record, correct? And I'm going to be able to get a judicial record for this? Or do I need to fill out a slip? Okay.
Yeah, we're on.
I just have a few housekeeping issues I'd like to address. Judge, due to the actions of the court in recent hearings, the court has removed me from hearings via Zoom, violating my rights.
All right, Mr. Saldana, before, Mr. Saldana, excuse me, I am running the court. And what
I am a pro se litigant. I have the right to be in the courtroom anytime there is anything being said about my case. I am the attorney for myself. The court stops me. All right, Mr. Saldana, before Mr. Saldana, that's what's on the court transcript. The court now, all right, they try to silence me. Now they want to proceed with the hearing. All right, are you ready to proceed at this time? She asked opposing counsel Kelly Joseph. Yes, Your Honor, we are. She still doesn't want to hear my housekeeping issues because, again, I'm putting on the record that she's been removing me from my own judicial proceedings. Mr. Saldana says, objection, Judge. I have housekeeping issues I would like to get on the record before we proceed. I'm ready to put case law down to tell her to quit removing me from my court proceedings. October 6th, I filed a grievance because she had been removing me from court proceedings, and it's still happening December 2nd, 2021. So the judge, Judge Sandra Peake of the 257th Court in Harris County, I'm going to find you, Mr. Saldana, in contempt. She held me in contempt for wanting to produce a record. She's wanting to hold me in contempt for litigating my case.
I'm going to find you, Mr. Saldana, in contempt. I've given an order, I've given you directions, I've been patient, and right now you are disrupting my courtroom proceedings.
I need him removed from the courtroom. He needs to be removed. There's video on YouTube where I was removed by 2 bailiffs for trying to litigate my case. You hear me say right here, Judge, I'm trying to address the housekeeping issues. Stop removing me from these judicial proceedings. After I was removed, I found out that they were talking and having the hearing. So I walked back into the courtroom and I yelled, is this ex parte communication? It even says on the court record, Mr. Saldana enters the courtroom. Is this ex parte communication? The court, Judge Sandra Peake, 257th in Harris County, no, we're actually participating in a hearing. And what we've done, we have the amicus attorney who is on the phone, and we're going to give her your contact information. I want to have this hearing with myself. I have the right to be in this hearing. The court says, okay, you can't have ex parte communication. That concludes pamphlet number 2. So let's get into pamphlet number 3. Pamphlet number 3 is the list of the eyewitnesses that were sitting in this courtroom who saw the ex parte communication, who saw me being removed, who saw the 2 bailiffs remove me from the court while trying to litigate my case. These Harris County judges are handcuffing attorneys in the jury box to chairs. They're removing pro se litigants who have a right to litigate their case with the bailiffs. They have bailiffs trying to use force and intimidation on court observers. So here, in my court transcript, she's asking who's in her courtroom. I understand that, but I need to identify the person who is present so you cannot be called as a witness. The court, Clay Sands. The court, Jesse Bailey. Mr. Bailey says, Jonathan Bailey, not a witness. Mr. Champagne, my name is Terrence Champagne. Can you hear that? And I'm not a witness today. Mr. Clifton, I'm not a party to either case, Your Honor. Mr. Bush, Brandon Bush, just an observer, Your Honor. Those were all my witnesses. Those were all my court observers that came to observe the issues of judicial misconduct within the 257th Court in Harris County. They're all here on my transcript. Everybody who was mentioned by the judge.
Called as a witness.
Clay Sands.
Clay Sands. And ma'am, over in the corner there, you ma'am. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Jesse Bailey, I'm not a
Jeff, stand up, please. And
Jesse Bailey.
Jesse Bailey?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And you, sir?
Jonathan Bailey, not a witness.
All right, thank you, sir. And you, sir?
My name is Terrence Champagne. Can you hear that? And I'm not a witness today. So
Okay, thank you, sir. And you, sir?
Avery Ayers, Mr. Kelly's legal assistant.
All right, thank you, sir. And you, sir?
Michael Clifton, I'm not a party to the stage.
All right, thank you, sir. And you, sir?
Tracy Bush, just as
All right, thank you.
And on the back of 3, I have all of their affidavits that I turned in with my grievance to the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. My name is Clay Sands. I witnessed and observed Judge Peake taking these actions, ordered by Mr. Saldana removed from the courtroom. Judge spoke to opposing counsel Kelly Joseph while Mr. Saldana was out of the court about Mr. Saldana. Judge Peake called and spoke to amicus attorney while Mr. Saldana was out of the courtroom. Opposing counsel communicated with the judge and the amicus while Mr. Saldana was out of the courtroom. She gave rights of communication to opposing counsel Kelly Joseph that she did not give to Mr. Saldana equally. I think there's a judicial canon that says a judge shall afford everyone the same opportunities, basically. I wasn't given that. But don't worry, the SCJC didn't investigate this. The SCJC did not call one of the witnesses that I gave sworn affidavits to. Here is Terrence Champagne's. Let me just read you a little bit about Terrence Champagne, because Terrence Champagne actually called law enforcement, Precinct 1 constables in Harris County, to come to the courtroom because the judge was violating my right to litigate my case in the interest of my child. She removed me by contempt. Sandra Peake allowed Kelly Joseph to lay out housekeeping rules, but refused to allow Mr. Saldana to do the same or make a record for the court. Rather than allow Mr. Saldana to make his record, she talked over him and she told him to be quiet. As Mr. Saldana was unable to make his record at the onset of his hearing due to the actions of Sandra Peake and was removed from the courtroom, I allege she engaged in official oppression as defined Texas Penal Code 39.03. Official oppression is a public servant acting under the color of his office or employment commits the offense if he intentionally subjects another to mistreatment or arrest, detention, search, seizure, disposition, assessment, or lien that he knows is unlawful. By refusing to take criminal complaints, they prevented Mr. Saldana from seeking justice against this tyrannical judge. I filed a criminal complaint. Nobody wanted to take it. Harris County Sheriff's Department, Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg, Public Integrity Unit, nobody wanted to take this. I sent it to the SCJC. The SCJC had my grievance for 855 days, violating Texas Government Code 33. In those 855 days, 2.5 years, more or less, they didn't interview one of these witnesses. They didn't look at the affidavits. They didn't call one. This is why SJR 27 is so important. Because when you have judges that are wielding their discretion and removing litigants from the court, and the SCJC, the Oversight Commission, does nothing about it, takes your complaint, throws it in the trash for 855 days, hoping you'll forget. We need competent oversight in our oversight committee of these judges. So that's why you should support SJR 27. And stay on the State Commission on Judicial Conduct's ass, especially Ron Bennett. Ron, I've talked to you multiple times, Ron, and you still failed as senior investigator to just call one witness. It's pathetic. Thanks for allowing me to get a little bit of this off my chest. And I hope to see you in Austin to testify in favor of Senate Joint Resolution 27. Thanks for following. If y'all have any questions, feel free to DM me. Peace out.